Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear viewers, I would like to welcome all of you in this new session of Pak SciComm's podcast. Today we have an amazing guest. Let me just introduce her with you. Today we have Dr. Maria Isabel. She is a Spanish Pakistani professor of linguistics, currently serving as director at Al-Indalus Institute of Languages, Lahore, Pakistan. She has been recently awarded with the prestigious Fatima Jinnah Award as an acknowledgement of her services. She has been living in Pakistan for more than 18 years and has taught at various educational institutes such as Kinnaird College, Punjab University, UMT University, and University of Lahore. Her expertise are on evolution of languages, and she has done her PhD thesis on analysis of the basic vocabulary of English, Spanish, and Urdu language. So, Dr. Maria Isabel, I would like to welcome you in this today's session of Pak SciComm's podcast.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, let us start question and answering session with you. Please tell us a brief introduction about yourself, your education until PhD, your professional journey, and your current job position now.
Sure. So as you said, my name is Dr. Maria, and I am from Spain. Initially, I was not interested in linguistics, but after a while, after I did my bachelor's in the United States, I opened a translation agency. And it was open for about 10 years. Then after that, I did a master's degree in teaching Spanish as a second language, but that was not sufficient to study other languages. That was only sufficient to study Spanish language. So I did an MPhil in linguistics and language science that allowed me to analyze any language of the world, right? Then I did my double major PhD in general linguistics and also Spanish language. And I analyzed the basic vocabulary of English, Urdu, and Spanish language. Then when I was doing my master's in linguistics, I started teaching at Kinnaird College. Then I joined the Punjab University as an assistant professor. At the Punjab University, I became the in charge of the Institute of Languages, where 12 language programs were taught. Then I was the director of external linkages for about 8 years in the Punjab University. And through a Chinese collaboration, we started the Confucius Institute, which is a Chinese language institute. Then in 2017, I joined University of Management and Technology as an associate professor of linguistics. And over there, I supervised approximately 22 MPhil theses and 8 PhD students. In 2020, I joined University of Lahore as a full professor. And then within 6 months, I became the HOD, and I left University of Lahore this year. And at the moment, I am just running my own institute, Al-Andalus Institute of Languages, which was founded in 2010. And it teaches a variety of languages, international languages, but it does research of the local languages. And it is also the official institute of Spanish language affiliated with the government of Spain, the only one in Pakistan.
Right. That is an amazing journey, Dr. Saiba.
Thank you.
So please tell me that how you thought to become a professor of linguistics in Pakistan. Was there any special motivation behind this?
Well, I never thought of becoming a professor of linguistics in Pakistan. It didn't happen that way. Actually, as I told you earlier, I did my bachelor's in the United States, and in my university, there was a teacher of a Spanish language, and he was not a native of Spanish, but he was teaching Spanish there. So one day I just sat in his class, and I kept on thinking on what he was doing, and I thought that I can do this better than him. But I didn't have any qualifications. So then I enrolled in a master's program from Spain, and I did my master's. And then, as I told you earlier, that was not enough for the analysis of other languages, so I enrolled in my MPhil program. Then after that, I joined University of the Punjab. And over there, if I wanted to become an associate professor, I had to have a PhD. So then I did my PhD in general linguistics and Spanish language. It's a double major PhD. And so it just happened like that, because from one thing we went to another. And then I also never thought of becoming a professor of linguistics in Pakistan. The Pakistan thing happened because I married a Pakistani citizen. And also I had never thought of, of moving to Pakistan even. But my father-in-law became sick. So my husband said to me that, look, my father is sick and I have to move to Pakistan for a while. And since I had traveled all over the world, all by myself, so I thought, so what's the big deal if I go to Pakistan with my husband? And I had 2 kids at that time as well. So we all came to Pakistan. And then after 9 months, my father-in-law passed away. And around that time, the 9/11 events had happened. And the situation for Muslims in the United States was very difficult. So we decided to stay in Lahore. And it has been almost 18 years now.
Yes, they are. Well, Pakistan is lucky to have you, definitely. So
Thank
according
you.
to one of your research paper, Urdu is the
Yes.
fourth most widely spoken global language. Since many people think that
Yes.
Urdu and Hindi are the same languages, are the origin of Urdu and Hindi really the same? If so, then how Urdu became different from Hindi language?
Okay. So yes, the origins of Urdu and Hindi are the same because, as you know, originally there was only India, there was no Pakistan. So in India, Sanskrit language was spoken, right? So with the passage of time, Sanskrit language developed into a group of languages called the Prakrits. So the Prakrit languages was not just one language, it was a variety of languages, and they also evolved with the passage of time, because people speak in their community and in some other community they speak differently. Like, as you know, there are various dialects of Punjabi. There is, for example, Maji, which is the standard Punjabi, but then there is Shapuri, and then there is other dialects of Punjabi. So the same thing happened with the Prakrit languages. They were initially dialects of Sanskrit, but they developed into other independent languages. One of those languages was Hariboli. And Hariboli developed into Hindi with the passage of time. And then in the in the 712, the invasion of the Muslims happened in the subcontinent, and they brought Arabic language to the subcontinent. So people started becoming Muslim. When people started becoming Muslim, then there was a need to read the Quran. But there was only one script, which was the Devanagari script. So the Muslims couldn't read the Quran through the Devanagari script because there are two different scripts, right? Another thing that started happening is that because of Islam, realities started changing. Like, for example, if we had to make wudu, there was no word in Hindi to say wuzu, right? So they started using the word wuzu, they started using Arabic words that came from Islam. So when the Hindus realized this, they had also taken some words from Arabic. So they started throwing out all the Arabic words. And then the Muslims started throwing out all of the Sanskrit words, because Sanskrit was the language of the Hindu religion, right? So what happened after that is that in the 1300s, people started realizing that they were having a very difficult time not being able to read the Quran because of their script. So they needed that Hindi language be written in an Arabic script so that they only learn one script and they can read their language and they can read Arabic as well. So there was this calligrapher from Persia. His name was Mir Ali Tabrizi. And there is a legend around Mir Ali Tabrizi that he had a dream. And in the dream, an angel told him that you have to create this script. Whether that is true or that is not true, he did create the script. And he created the Nastaliq script with the Nash of Arabic and the Taliq of Persian. So we have the Nastaliq script. And this is how Urdu separated from Hindi. But definitely they do have the same origin.
Yes, right. Well, it was a detailed description. I definitely did not know about it in that much detail. Thank you for enlightening us. Please tell me that how many times Urdu language went through reforms or evolution, and how these reforms affected Urdu language.
I cannot tell you exactly a number of times because languages are in constant evolution and sometimes we don't even realize. If you look at the English language, let's say in 2019, the word coronavirus wasn't there, and many other types of words related to coronavirus were not there. So how many times the English language has gone through a process of evolution since 2019 is kind of uncountable, right? Studies are being done on it at the moment. So the same thing has happened with Urdu language. It was in a process of continuous evolution. There have been multiple reforms. There have been reforms in which the Sanskrit words have been removed from the language at some point in history. There have been reforms in which English language affected Urdu language. There have been reforms in which Persian language affected Urdu language. And if I have to give you percentages, I can tell you that only from Sanskrit, there are only 26.9% of the vocabulary in Urdu language. For Arabic, 29.9%. For Persian, 21.7%. From English, 7.8%. Even from Prakrit, there is still some, and those are 6.4%. So this is how you get to know the percentage of long words in different languages.
Right, right. So talking about the students, what do you think that medium of instructions for students in Pakistan, should it either be Urdu or in English, which will be more effective in your opinion?
Well, as you know, Pakistani people are multilingual, right? They have a mother tongue, which could be Urdu or not. It could be a regional language or a provincial language, or it could be some other language. In Pakistan, there are 76 languages, okay? So scientists prefer that the medium of instruction be the mother tongue of the students. But in Pakistan, sometimes this is not possible because we don't have those materials. Let's say for Hinko, for example, how do we teach students in their mother tongue books of science or book of Islamiyat when these books are not available? So I am of the opinion that children need to be taught in their mother tongue, children need to be taught in Urdu, and children need to be taught in English. And when the children are little, this is the right time. People keep on making experiments. A lot of experiments have been made in Pakistan of the sort of, okay, we will teach the kids in Urdu until 5th grade. And then in 5th grade, they start teaching the kids English. This is an error. It's an error because small children are very capable, and this is the best age to teach them multiple languages. So from the very beginning, they should be taught their mother tongue, their regional language, if it is different from their mother tongue, Urdu, and also English. This is my opinion. Perhaps also Arabic. The madrasas are doing this work very effectively.
Right. Well, research also tells us that young children are very much capable of learning multiple languages, and it's in fact good for their brain development as well.
Absolutely.
That's what I have read. So you have also written research papers about Sultan Bahu's poetry. What do you think about Sultan Bahu's concept and depiction of mystical love?
Well, what I think is that Sultan Bahu had a very interesting concept of closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this can be seen in his poetry when he talks about the effects of love. So many times he talks about the effects of love. I analyzed just one book to see what was the density of the effect of love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he had mentioned that 105 times.
Wow.
Then the unity with the Creator, he had mentioned that 100 times. Then sacrifice, he had mentioned that 49 times. And then faith, he had mentioned that 20 times. And like that, he talks about the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with those terms.
Right. What a beautiful analysis you have made, Dr. Saiba. I'm impressed. And as the Sultan Bahu also says that the divine is found by those with pure and true hearts. So it's in fact, your research can be used for many people, especially the ones who are actually studying Urdu and Punjabi as well. So in the end, what message you would like to give to young researchers, faculty members, and especially to the students?
I would like to tell the students that the teachers are only guides. The teachers are responsible for the development of the students, but we are only a guide. And when I say you, I mean the student. You have to actually carve your own path, right? So if you want to be, let's say, a forensic linguist, for example, forensic linguistics is not being taught in Pakistan. So then it's not the responsibility of your teacher to make sure that you become a forensic linguist. It's your own responsibility to make sure that you learn all the tools to become a forensic linguist. And whatever you want to achieve, go for it and don't let anybody tell you that you shouldn't pursue a particular path as long as it is proven that is good for you and halal.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Saiba. We are very much fortunate to have had some of your expertise and credentials, your volunteer time from your busy schedule to share with our viewers. Pak SciComm would like to express our gratitude. Dedicated professionals like you are our real strength, and it was really an honor to meet you. We really wish best for your future. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.